You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of ABK Media Group, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County every day at 9 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney, coming to you today with some great information as always. I got my guest on this morning, Mr. Cooke. We're going to be talking about setting financial goals for yourself. Listen, I know we're in the second month of 2019, but that's okay. It's still not too late to set some great financial goals because you're still working, aren't you? And if you're working, you want your money to work hard for you while you work hard for it. So why not learn how to do that? And today, my guest, Cooke, is going to be here to tell you a little bit how to set a financial goal. Listen, we got a 12-part series going on here. We're going to be here for the next 10 weeks after today, talking about money and how to make it grow and how to learn about investing and what you should be investing in, understanding what investing and investments are and how they can help you and your family create the legacy that you really want to leave for them when you're gone. You know, I work hard every day to leave a legacy for my daughter and my new granddaughter and my niece and nephews, you know, because I feel like, you know, when I think back to in my life, and I asked mom, I think I'd said this before, I asked my mom, did we ever own anything? And she said, we did. They took it from us. You know, I don't want that to be the case. I want to have a legacy that outlives me, and money is a part of that legacy. So, you know, I've worked hard my whole life. My mom has worked hard her whole life. My brother works hard. You know, my daughter works hard. But working hard for the money and never letting the money work hard for you is kind of crazy. So we're going to talk to you about, you know, what you need to do to make that move. So good morning, Chris. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Audrey. Happy birthday to you. And thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to share with your viewers and your listeners this morning. And I think that's a good subject, setting financial goals, you know, whether we're setting short-term or mid-term or long-term financial goals. I believe it to be an important step towards becoming financially secure or financially independent or financially free.
And you know, that's absolutely right. And you said three things. Now, I've heard of long-term goals, short-term goals. I've never heard of mid-term goals. So can we kind of just walk through, let's start at short-term first and tell the listeners what a short-term financial goal is. Like, give a little bit of tidbits about what that is.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it probably in more detail. But, yeah, a short-term financial goal, I would say it's an emergency a goal or a goal to take care of things that's going to happen in America. Give you an example: water pump goes out on the car. You break something that needs to be repaired. Your child has to go to the doctor. One of these little emergency places in the neighborhood. Those are short term. As a matter of fact, a good example is just recently during the when the government shut down, there were individuals who were working full time during the shutdown that after 2 weeks with no cash flow, they were in a dire situation. So a good short-term goal is to have money set aside for emergencies. And I said, again, I'll bring it out a little bit more later on in this broadcast as well.
Now, what's a midterm goal? Because I've never heard that term before. I've heard of long-term and short, but never midterm. What is a midterm goal? Yeah,
midterm goal, I also call it a lifestyle account or a lifestyle goal. In other words, I was in Puerto Rico 2 years ago, and I had saved money for the express purpose of doing things like taking a trip, buying a color TV, a vacation, things of that nature. So I guess the point what I'm advocating here is people should have, when they're setting their financial goals, they should have three pots, so to speak, or three accounts to put their money in. Short-term for emergencies, mid-term or lifestyle account, and then, of course, long-term or retirement. That way they're not trying to pull from one. Give you a good example. People that have 401ks, when there's an emergency, they pull out of their 401k, and the vast majority of people never replace it, so now it depletes their retirement funds. A person wants to go on vacation. They save money from their paycheck as opposed to having an account where they can pull money out of there for that purpose, and it doesn't interfere with their paycheck, if that makes sense.
It does. And I got to tell you this, when I was in Jersey, we used to all work at a hospital in New Jersey called the Children's Hospital or United Presbyterian Hospital in Newark, New Jersey. And they had what's called a Christmas club. And they had a vacation club and they had a Christmas club, and it automatically came out of our check every pay. And so we knew that in October we were going to get our Christmas club money, and we knew that in June we was going to get our vacation club money, and it was through our credit union, but it was automatic money, so we didn't miss the money. And it was, you'd be surprised how much money you'll save if you work and get paid twice a month. Right. 3 times a month, and you save $30, $40, that adds up. And so that's a nice little chunk of change, right around Christmas time. So we knew October you were going to get your check for Christmas, so at the end of October, they gave it to you at the very end so you can start shopping for the holidays. And then in June, you got your vacation money. And believe it or not, Chris, you would think that $20 a week doesn't add up. But when you talk about from June to June, twice a month, it adds up. And it was great. Now I'm guilty because I need to have an automatic savings coming out right now. But being an entrepreneur, there's no money coming every 2 weeks. You don't know when the money's coming sometimes, so it's a little bit difficult. And what do you say to that person who says, you know what, it'd be cool if I could do some automatic payments coming out, but my money is sporadic because I run this business? What do you say to that person? How do they set a financial goal for these short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals?
Yeah. I know in the future broadcast we're going to talk about that a bit more at length. But for today, I would say this: for those of you that followed sports over the years, a legendary coach by the name of Vince Lombardi, at the beginning of training camp every year, he would pick up a football and he would say to the players, "Gentlemen, this is a football." Now, these are guys who've been playing football and high school and college, and he says something to them as basic as "this is a football." And so he never assumed that they understood that. And so I think part of it is we've got to understand what a goal is and why it's important, and what is the purpose of a goal. It's not a wish, it's not a dream, it's not an aim, it's an ambition. It's an aspiration that requires knowledge and diligence, consistency, a planned sacrifice and work. So individuals, and I know we're talking about budgeting down the road, but here's a kind of sneak preview, have to put a plan in place. But here's the deal. All of us make enough money to save some money. All of us make enough to save some money. The question might be how much. You just mentioned putting away $20 a week from June to June. You look up and you'll be surprised. No different than putting away $5. Now, automatically, those things can be put in place for individuals that may lack the diligence or discipline to do it. But they first have to have a goal and have to have an objective. And let me just say this before you ask any other questions. We have to ask ourselves, the question is, why is it people don't set financial goals? And there's a host of reasons, anywhere from they don't know why they want to set a financial goal. Some people are lazy. It requires energy to do that. Some people are just living in the now. They're not thinking about the future. They don't write down their goals. Here's an interesting study by Yale University. They took 100 students and they had 3 of them write down their goals. The other 97, they didn't. The 3% that wrote down their written goals achieved more than the other 97% put together. You have to write them down. Some people don't set goals because they're comfortable where they are. Some people have set financial goals already in the past that were too high and unrealistic, and they didn't achieve them, so they became despondent. And fear is another reason why people don't set financial goals. But I believe that the main reason is procrastination. I'm going to do it tomorrow, or I'm going to do it next week, next month. And so those are just some of the reasons why people don't do some of them things that you had already mentioned in setting financial goals.
And Chris, I think another one too is I think people just feel like they have to save so much. When you think about saving and investing, they think that you have to save so much. I remember a while ago, and I don't even know if this company is still around. I want to say it was called Share. It was Share something, and share builders. That's what it was. And I remember I used to read Black Enterprise all the time. And inside of Black Enterprise, there was a share builders ad always in Black Enterprise. Cause Black Enterprise was business, but it was more about money, more so than business, in my opinion anyway. And it would say you can start this account with $5. And I think a lot of people don't believe that they can start an account with $5. I think that they feel like, well, what is $5 going to do? Well, if you save $5 a month, at the end of the year, that's $60. $60 is sitting there that's growing interest. And so you got to think about where can you start at. And I'm a little bit guilty too. So I know I have some things I need to do, but that's why I got Chris on here to motivate me and inspire me to take some steps that, that I know I need to take. And so hopefully he's going to inspire you to do the same. Now, you said something, Key. You said people started having money taken out, but it was unrealistic because they didn't hit the goal or was too much money. So if you start to have money taken out and your life changes, and you can't have that much money taken out, what do you suggest for them? Because some people just stop. They was like, this account got to go. I got to close this account down because life is in the way right now, and I can't keep having money coming out because I don't have the money coming in. So they close the account out altogether. And I know that happens because that's happened to my husband and I. And I'm just sharing, being transparent. There was a time when he felt like I don't need that account anymore because I need to do something else with that money. And me, we had a problem with that. I had a problem with it. So we had some issues around that. It wasn't me that said it, but we had some issues around that because I felt like why would you close it? But it was his choice. So what do you say to that person who says, you know what, I got this account, but I could be doing something else with that money?
Yeah, I've been there also, and I'm sure a lot of your audience has been there as well. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I said is necessary is discipline. You've got to be disciplined. And excuse me, Jeff. And that means that, okay, life happens. We need money for other things. We need money for life. But here's what we do. I use the analogy of a pie. If it's just 4 of us, everybody gets a healthy slice. Now, if there's 6 of us, the slice gets thinner. If there's 8 of us, it gets thinner. If there's 12 of us, it gets thinner. But no one thinks of, why not just make a bigger pie? So the point is, this $50 a month, let's say we're putting aside for whether it's a short-term goal or financial goal or midterm or a long-term financial goal. Instead of what I need to do is find a way to make an extra $50 so I can continue to maintain this. And so the easy way out is to say, let's just froze the account. Remember, this was a goal. And what I did is I stopped. A goal is something that you work towards. It's an aspiration. It's an ambition. In other words, you don't change the goal. Maybe you could even say, I tell you what, maybe let's reduce from 50 to 25. But the easy way out is let's stop. Let's quit. I'm a firm believer of this. My associates and teammates know this. I say this all the time. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you quit there, you're probably quitting in other areas of your life. I know that sounds hard, but that's the truth. If I'm lazy, Audrey, in one area of my life, there's a good likelihood I'm lazy in other areas of my life. So here's a great opportunity when life happens and we start thinking about, man, I need that $50 a month or that $25 a month or that $10 a month. I need that. But what it should do, it should make us say, you know what, how can I make an extra $10 a month, an extra $50 a month? And in that way, I continue to work towards my goal. But what I've done, I've also increased my income. And we just usually don't think about that route.
And another thing too, I think about my husband. So he has a really nice, 401k on his job. And I think a lot of people feel this way as well, because I know people who have really nice 401ks on their job and they feel like, well, I already have something. I already have life insurance on my job. I already have, investments through my job. I already have something. So they don't see the necessary need to have something extra because they already have something. What do you say to that person? Because I know you probably get that a lot.
Oh, yeah, I get that a lot, I've got a 401k. Here's what I do. I ask them the question, which really makes them think. In your 401k, in order for you to retire, how much do you need to save to live just the same way you're living now? And 9 out of 10 people tell me they don't know. So my question is, how do you know you're saving enough? That's one way to look at it. For individuals that say, I got life insurance on my job, I said, that's absolutely great. I'm glad to hear that you're covered. How long you want to be at this job? Nobody knows. So what we're doing, we're not thinking ahead. And I think part of goal setting, especially financial goal setting, is thinking ahead. In fact, I believe there are at least 9 financial goals people need to be thinking about right now, today. So to answer your question, in those 2 instances, I get them to start thinking ahead, because what happens, they've got comfortable because I got a 401k. Even my company's matching, they may say. But the question is also, well, what is the rate of return? Because what they may be matching may not be enough to get you to how much you need to save in order to retire. That's the goal, because you can work for a company 40 years, have a 401k, 403b, 457 TSA in place, and find out at the end of that period of time, you have not saved enough money to stop working.
Now, you say there are 9 financial goals that you said most people should set. Can you give us half of those? We're going to do the other half next week.
Okay, sounds good. Here's one. Everyone needs to have an emergency fund. Why? There's always an emergency. And I don't care if you just started working or you've been working 40 years, anywhere in between, there's always going to be a financial emergency in life. And generally, we recommend that you have at least 3 to 6 months of your, which you make every month. You need to have at least 3 to 6 months of that saved. Yes, that takes time, but again, when emergency arises, as opposed to going to a payday loan business to get that money and be charged 300-400%, you've got that somewhere. So that's number one. Interesting enough, 60% of Americans have less than $500 set aside in a savings account, cookie jar, wherever they keep it for emergencies. So number one, smart financial goal is have an emergency fund. Number 2, get out of debt. We live in a culture which says you don't need to have the money. You can pay it off over a period of time. Debt. You can buy cars even with bankruptcies if you're willing to pay 24% interest or more for it. You can get credit cards even with bad credit. But what happens is, because we compound our financial situation and exacerbate things, exacerbate things by being deeply in debt, now we can't put money away for emergencies or for midterm goals or long-term goals. So I would encourage everyone, get out of debt as quickly as you can. It frees you up. Just imagine this, Audrey. What if individuals did not have a house note and a car note? That's just thinking for a minute. Yeah. Number 3, set up a short-term account or a midterm account. We talked about a lifestyle account. That way you don't have to pull money out of your emergency fund to take a vacation or to go see your parents during Thanksgiving or to get Christmas gifts. Set up a short-term account. That way you're not dipping in the other one. If an emergency, you take money out of emergency account. When you want to take a vacation, buy a new flat screen TV, you get it out of your midterm, short-term account. Number 4, plan for retirement early. Age 18, or as you mentioned, people that got 401ks now, a lot of them get statements, whether online in the mail, they don't even understand it. So they're just hoping, because I got this retirement account, I might be okay, but you got to plan for it. Matter of fact, people need to be planning, well, how much I'm going to get in Social Security, if I'm going to get Social Security, when I'm going to take Social Security, how much I'm going to get out of my 401k if I pull out 6%, 8%, 10%. I mean, people need to be planning for that. So when it happens, it's no surprise. I'll just say one other thing about planning. Individuals that have those qualified accounts I mentioned, 401ks, 403bs, 457s, and et cetera, and so forth, we get a market turn down. The market corrects by 10%. And let's say you got $200,000 in there. That means you lost $20,000. If you're close to retirement, you need to be planning, how can I protect that money? And we'll talk about that somewhere down the line, because if you're close to retirement, you don't have enough time to recover that money. Here's the 5th one. Create multiple income streams. I'm not talking about getting another job. That's not another income stream. That's just another job, which you have to still pay taxes. but have other income streams, whether it's doing hair, whether it's tutoring, whether it's writing a book, whether it's doing online sales, selling shoes out the back of your car. I encourage people to have second and third and fourth sources of income. I mean, millionaires and billionaires have other income streams. So can we. And so I would encourage people to pursue those. So those are 5 of the 10 financial goals I believe people should have.
And we're going to talk more about those because Chris said a whole lot. And I'm saying to myself, ooh, that's so nice. But let me tell you this, Chris, and you're so right about the multiple streams of income. I read a book long time ago by Robert Allen called Multiple Streams of Income. And I'm telling you, that was a great book back then, but it's still very relevant. Like right now, like I'm the CEO of 2 companies. I write books. I do podcasts. I do a lot of things. Here's the thing though. I love all of them. So, but what do? They create little pockets of money. And so for me, I have little pockets of money coming in from all these different places. And I give you a prime example. So, and this is very passive. Like this stream I'm about to talk about right now is a very passive stream because I never do anything with it. So I have an internet TV network called HerTube, right? And so my HerTube channel is on Amazon Fire TV. Every month, Chris, without fail, Amazon make a deposit into my business account. I don't do anything. Wow. I do nothing with that account. Nothing. I do nothing with the channel anymore. We have about 750 videos on the channel. We got all that content when we first started. Like in the first year, we acquired all of that content. And I developed a channel on Amazon Fire TV. And now the channel is streaming in countries around the world. And I get money deposited directly into my account every month. That's passive income that I do nothing for with my podcast because there's revenue sharing built into the podcast. I go there, I look at my stats. When people like the show, they click on it. I make money, not more money. These are little pockets of income that are passive. So when Chris said create multiple streams of income for yourself, you can do that and not have to like work so hard at it, and these tiny little pockets of income that come in, it adds up. Let me tell you another really great one. And this is super passive. Ebates. I know y'all probably seen the commercial about Ebates, but here's the thing. I own 103 domain names. Every year, I buy some more domain names. I let some go because I haven't used them. But every time I buy them, I click on my little Ebates tabs on the top of my browser board. And when I buy my domain name, it gives me money back. I get a check monthly from Ebates. I think it's every other month. Hey, here's your Ebate. Wow. Back. That's passive income. I'm gonna buy the domain names anyway. Why not get some of my money back? These are little pockets of income that are out there that you could put. If you have a blog, right? If you have a blog and you blog constantly on your blog, go to Google Ads, set up a Google ad account, put some Google ads on your blog post. That's passive income. So you can create multiple streams of income without having to do a whole lot of work, but you just got to be consistent. So think about that. As Chris said, my husband called me a black Jew, Chris. He calls me a black Jew because I don't spend a lot of money. I'm not a big spender like that. He likes to spend money. I'm not a big spender like that. And I don't know where that comes from because I used to spend a lot of money. But I think when I became an entrepreneur and I became a mother, all those things changed. When I was single and young and I didn't have any real responsibilities, my American Express bill used to be $3,000 a month. I'm not going to even lie to you. And I used to say to myself, man, I don't know where I'm going to get that money from. But every month I will find listen what I'm telling you, because I like to shop. I love clothes. I would find $3,000 a month from somewhere, Chris, to pay my American Express bill off. And I had to because my brother, it was his card and he made me a user on the card. So he gave me my own American Express card. And I knew if I messed it up, he would be pissed off at me. So I found that money every month when I was younger. But when I had my daughter, all that stuff changed. And I guess I became a black Jew where I look at everything. I look at the money. I have these multiple streams of income. I work really hard. And so, what you're saying is so true. You have to think about how can I make more money, and you can't get comfortable with your 401k because I know people right now who had a 401k and they were told if you don't move this money, you're going to lose it. And I'm thinking, you saved all that money and they're telling you they could take the money from you or you could lose it, or it's just crazy stuff like that. So millionaires and billionaires, they know this stuff already. So that's why Chris is here with us for the next 10 weeks talking about. And I'm almost feeling like we're going to extend it because I wrote down some things that are not on our list of things to talk about over the next 12 weeks. But I hope Chris don't mind coming back. And we're going to be doing some other stuff. We're going to be doing some live video streams and things like that because I just feel like this information is much needed. And the more people we share this information with, the more people we can help become financially free, and the more people we can help start on their road to legacy, building their legacy. Now, Chris, you said something before. You said plan for retirement early. What would you tell an 18-year-old who, they just want to play games and they just want to Snapchat and buy, iPhones for $900? How can they start? How can you even encourage them to say, you know what, you might want to look at your financial future? I know you're 18 right now, but here's some things you might want to think about.
Yeah, I would probably, since they want to do those things, I would probably say to them, I want you to think about this. Now I'm kind of dream casting or creating a vision for them. What if you can still do those things, play video games or hang out with your friends, and don't have to worry about how you're going to pay for it? In other words, what if you could make enough money that will pay your rent or your house note, your car note, and all of those things? At least get them thinking in that direction. I see you wear a lot of Nike apparel or Adidas apparel. What if you can get a check from them every quarter? So now I've got them thinking in this terms. Well, how can we do it? Well, we need to start putting some money away systematically in order to make that a reality. So I think when you paint pictures like that for a young person, it gives them the vision that, wow, that would be great. And for people that are wealthy, that's what happens. I think we think that we can't do it because we don't have tens of thousands of dollars. If we can get just started with a small amount and then increase it over a period of time, we'll wake up and we can be millionaires. I'll give you an example. The average person in America, after 40 years of work, will make somewhere between $1 and $2 million. The question is, where is it? And for the vast majority of the people, we've given it away. We've spent it. We've fitted it away. We've enjoyed it. But what if you was to start saving a portion of that where 30 to 40 years later, and I hope your listeners hear this, especially the younger ones, the millennials, 30 to 40 years later, you're a millionaire because you just started saving a small amount on a consistent basis. So I think, to help young people, we got to paint that picture. Yes, we need to teach them how to be disciplined and not to fall prey to consumerism, but by the same time, showing how it's possible to become a millionaire or to become financially independent or to become financially free. And I think we got to paint that picture for them to see that it's possible.
I think you got to paint that picture for most people because most people feel like, life is too much. And they can't, but I think you're absolutely correct because I know people that spend hundreds of dollars on Jordan. Jordan is a billionaire. How about you learn how to be a billionaire like Jordan while you sport his sneakers? You want to rock the sneakers. Hey, be like the man. You really want to be like the man? Follow him down the billionaire trail. You rock his sneakers, follow him down the billionaire trail because he is a billionaire right now. And that was yeah. So listen. I have to run. I do hate to end this conversation because it is a good one. But we'll be back again next week to talk some more about, getting your financial house in order and also how to, continue to build this legacy. Thank you, Chris, so much for just being here with me this morning. I really appreciate all the information that you're sharing. There's some good stuff. And as you was talking, I was writing some notes because I got some things that I'm thinking, oh my God, we're going to have to talk about that on another episode. So we're going to keep this conversation going because it's going to help somebody. I know it is. And reach out to us, reach out to Chris. Chris, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, they can reach me. Let me give you my number where they can reach me. They can reach me at 404-839-8274. Number again is 404-839-8274. Or they can reach me or email me at realissues@aol.com. And so you can tell I'm dated because I'm still using AOL. That's one of the emails. But real issues, because this is a real issue, realissues@aol.com or call me at 404-839-8274. Consultation is free, by the way.
Listen, Chris is a financial advisor. You see, he know his stuff. He's giving us some really good nuggets here, money nuggets to kind of move us in the right direction. You know, he's got me excited about moving in the right direction because, you know, I'm not perfect, you know, so I still got some things I can do. Yeah, I got little pockets here and there. I need to add a couple more pockets while I'm adding more streams of income to my life. So thanks again, Chris. I'll talk to you again next week. On another episode of Good Morning Gwinnett. Listen, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to tune in next week because we got another one coming for you. Chris is going to be right back here next week talking about how to handle this, how to build this legacy thing and how to get this money working for you because you work hard for your money. I'll be back again next time, God willing. Listen, you have a wonderful weekend and be safe out there because, you know, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Until next time, everybody, make it a great day.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends.